down here at the golf simulators at Avalon Lakes with one of our teaching instructors, Joe Allen, who's going to talk a little about something he sees on the range all the time, which is
your approach to hitting each shot on the range without really having a purpose.
Right, and I'm hoping he says that it's not just a mental thing, it's a physical thing too, and it doesn't matter on the backswing. What matters is when you actually connect with the ball.
Right, and
Okay.
after I show you this approach, that's what I want to hit home on, is proper impact.
All right, let's talk about impact. Why don't you take it away? I'll slide out of the way.
Okay, so what I see a lot, if I'm getting ready to hit a ball on the range, I see a lot of people, they'll automatically just set their club down without taking their hands on the club properly, getting in here like this, and the next thing you know, I notice is they're actually gripping the club with their shoulders. Here's what I mean by that. Now my shoulders are too engaged into my setup here.
Okay.
What I'm suggesting, it's how I was taught, it's how I learned. The club is weightless for me right now. So, I was also taught how to place the club in my hands properly so I don't have any tension. The reason is I get both of my biceps resting against my side. Not pressing, but they're resting. And then I just simply start lowering the club to the ball, a little protrude in my rear end so I have a little bit of tilt, and now I can start filling the golf club.
Got to feel the weight.
Got to feel the weight of the club head. The weight of the club head. So there's three key words here when you go to practice. This would work for anyone. Any 20 handicapper from a scratch golfer. Okay, feel some momentum. Feel some momentum. Then we want to feel some gravity as we come down. We don't want a sense of pulling the club down or throwing the club. We want gravity to do it. It's going to go up and it's going to come down. Then the third word is rotation. I want to feel momentum, gravity, rotation, gravity, rotation. And then you'll start getting a sense of timing and tempo rather than clearing and firing. Those are bad for your psyche. Tempo and rhythm, your brain's going to relate to a lot easier.
Seems like you're swinging it more than you're hitting it.
Yes, that's exactly what we want to defeat, is the hit.
Okay.
Which, back to the beginning of this, where my shoulders are engaged, that's the kind of swing you see. You didn't see any symmetry in there. So once I start feeling the momentum, then I can start feeling the gravity, then I can start rotating, and then I can just simply take those three words and just make a golf swing.
All right, take me through when you actually strike the golf ball.
Good. I'm going to talk about the golf club in general first. Each iron consists of 4 L's, 4-letter L's. It has a lie, which is the way it sits. It has a loft, depending on the number, the amount of pitch or angle. This one here is like a wedge. So
Higher
it's
the
like
number, the bigger the loft, right?
Yeah. Then it has a length. But most important, it's made with a lean. And if you just took this shaft here, it has no club head in it. No matter how I look at this, it's always straight. But once we insert it into the club head, a golf club is designed for contact, not for setup. So the club is leaning slightly here. As you can see, I can turn around to the other camera if you want me to.
No, that's good.
Okay, so if I look at it this way, the shaft is actually going to be setting forward or target side, me being right-handed, in my setup. The shaft is. So, what I see a lot of is where we get the beginners or somebody new coming in and then they lean the club the wrong way. Okay, and
Yes.
this is what happens. Yes, they can get the ball in the air if they're lucky, but they're going to get to a point where they plateau and they can't get any better because they can't get any compression to the golf ball. And compression is just simply I need to get the shaft left of the ball before the club head strikes it. So I'll have a lot of my students set up to the ball. That's it. Now let's simulate impact. And there it is. There's what we're trying to do. I'll give you a couple examples. Anytime I watch baseball on TV and they show somebody at contact, that shaft bat is leaning. That barrel is never ahead of the handle.
Right.
It may be when the ball leaves, but not at the moment of contact. Here's a bad one, but it works. When I had to mop a floor, those strings are trailing my hands all the time. Mm-hmm. Shaft's leaning. Same when you use a broom. Absolutely an absolute when you hit a golf ball to hit it correctly. We want that golf club leaning at contact. So I could use this just to demonstrate here. If I don't contact, or if I don't have the shaft leaning and I throw my wrist, I'm going to start banging myself in the ribs. But going back to the momentum, the gravity, and the rotation, if I rotate through here, I have a slight lean, just enough. It's all I needed, but I never hit myself here. So those are key. That's in a nutshell what I wanted to hit home on. But I'd like to show you something, and you demonstrate real quick.
Okay.
On how I would fix somebody who's in a poor impact position.
Okay.
Okay, so you just set up in there, Mike, with that club. So we know right now you're in a pretty good setup there with the shaft. It has a slight lean, but it's not ridiculous. Okay,
forward.
You feel that.
Yep.
All right. So now I just want you to show me how your body would be at the actual impact if you were to hit the ball.
I would be...
Go ahead. Without. Okay, good. There you go. That's it. That's what we're looking for there. Now just stay there for a minute. Let go of the handle, but stay in that spot. This would put your hands on the club now. That's neutral. This is what nope, don't move back.
Okay.
How awful does that feel?
Awful.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what happens.
Okay.
That's what we don't want to do versus where we want to be.
Gotcha.
And then so how do we establish that? What's the easiest way to get there? I would suggest this. Let me have that just for a second here. Everybody can do that. Let me I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate a shot here. Just start out with short shots. Set your hands. Make sure you have a little bit of lean. And then you'll start seeing that ball. You can hear the contact, and you'll start seeing pretty good results. So this is descending. Ball's going to climb up the face and get launched. Versus the opposite, where it's coming in this way. Now it's just sliding across the club face. And that's why it doesn't have the compression. It may go high, has a lot of spin, then the wind affects it. But if we're having more of a driving action.
Very good.
That's how I would present. Those are two important things that I see all the time.
Well, if you'd like to get a hold of Joe, you can do that through the Avalon Lakes Pro Shop. And hopefully this will have a good impact on your game.